for my career, it's just the ultimate. This will make me for a lifetime.
That right there is trainer Sally Keys. She won the inaugural Magic Millions 2-year-old Classic.
And Snippets is driving away in the run of the points. He'll win easily.
It's the race that changes lives, and it starts at the sales. Whether you're a top stable or a spokesperson for a syndicate, you are chasing that 1 in a million.
And $1,050,000.
But while beauty is in the eye of the beholder at the sales, virtue on the track is plain to see. From snippets and dance heroes
won the million
to capitalists and Stormboy.
Stormboy is too good for them in the 2-year-old.
Cheers are guaranteed, but a winner is not. Find out on Sky Racing.
Yes, we've had to wait about 5 days, or 6 days in fact, for the Magic Millions 2-year-old Classic to be run and won after we had that torrential downfall at the Gold Coast Turf Club last Saturday. We got through 3 races, saw some impressive winners where the fence no doubt was the place to be. But as we welcome in Michael Maxworthy this afternoon to Sky Thoroughbred Central, he'll be on track and finding us all the winners. Maxie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Brodie. It's nice to be on the show. And here we are 24 hours away from the greatest nights under lights ever, I think, in southeast Queensland or the whole of Queensland, with something like $11 million in prize money to be distributed. You spoke about the heavy track last week, and it was great to see that Queensland were out of the blocks fairly quickly. Usually these big purse races go to the south, but each of those 3 races last Saturday were won by Queensland-trained horses. So we've got the start. I don't know whether we can keep going, though, because this is a wonderful cards racing. And, Brodie, we've had to totally reapproach the form because the track was very heavy, as we know, last Saturday when doing the form. But they are predicting some showers on the coast over the next 24 hours, maybe somewhere between 0 and 10 mils tomorrow. So not a lot. I'm looking at a track, maybe a soft 5 and a good 4. So, yeah, the inside was hot to trot last week, which was most unusual. When you get rain on a racetrack, usually jockeys come up the middle to outer part of the track. But that inside 2 to 2.5 horse section was certainly a highway, I felt, anyway.
Let's waste no more time, Maxie, and dive straight into the market for race number 1. A couple of these races have been adjusted. We have the 2-year-old Classic nice and early in race number 2, but we're going to have a look at the Sub-Zero, where $3.30, Belvedere Boys, he would have loved the wet track last week, but he comes off a dominant last start win at Eagle Farm. We'll touch on his replay in a moment. Miss Jolene's $5, the last start wave winner, and shares that quote with Encoder, who ran really well in the same event. Lock Eagle, $8.50. Then we hit the double figure pair for Newgate, Tannhauser and Gold Bullion. Now, Michael, Belvedere Boys came up to Queensland, was really impressive defeating Queen Air, was a big drifter in betting that day as well as we pick up the replay.
Further back, Belvedere Boys, Nickson Spur, Red Toppers.
This time around, $4.60 into $3.30 you just mentioned, so hoping Belvedere Boys can do the right thing by punters. He was good at Rose Hill 2 starts ago when graduating to the 2,000 metres. He won that country classic. And then he comes here to the shootout, much better competition. That's Queen Air in second spot. Now, she was a little bit unlucky there, but we know she's a good quality mare over 2,000 plus. And he's handling the rise in trips absolutely perfectly. He did only have 53 kilos there. He rises about 3 kilos, but I don't think that's going to slow him down, Belvedere Boys. You say he loves rain affected. The going was good there. It was a good 3, so he's just the perfect stayer. Lightly raced. He's only had 13 starts for 6 wins, and I think all he needs to do is get a nice run in transit, maybe slot in midfield, 1 off the fence, and then Blake Shen can find the right part of the track. So I'm happy to go with Belvedere Boys. Miss Jolene was very good over this trip during the Winter Carnival. She placed in the Queensland Oaks over 2,200. She's coming off a dominant win, I felt. Had a wide trip there last Saturday week at the Sunshine Coast in the Tab Wave. She got up to score. She beat Encoder, and a better track surface is going to certainly suit Encoder, so I've made sure that I put him into the numbers. And we've got the good old boy Skylab there, Brodie. He won this race 2 years ago. last year he finished about 7th or 8th, not much clear running in the home straight, and I thought his recent prep run in Sydney was quite good. But I think Belvedere Boys can take the first race tomorrow night.
He's going to be very popular as well, Matt Dunn. He places his horses extremely well, and he'll be looking for a big feature win there at the Gold Coast. Now we're straight into the feature in race number 2 on the card now, where Memo is our clear favourite at $5. It would have been fascinating to see how she would have gone last week with that very beneficial rail position. We're going to get hopefully a much more even track, and she's currently our market elect in from $5.50 when the markets went back up. La Bella Boom, $6 out to $6.50. Gallo Nero's been $6.50 out to $7. Invincible Woman, $6 out to $7. Space Rider, still a first emergency, $8 into $7. He's deep into the red for the first at Eagle Farm on Saturday if he doesn't get a run. And Icarian Dream, $7.50 and Rock Solid. Interesting to note, Quietly Arrogant, $23 into $14, back out to $15, has been a big mover. But Maxie, last time we saw the Magic Millions 2-year-old classic run away from the Saturday, and on the backup day, Tony Gollan presented Skirt the Law to win, and La Bella Boom, following such an impressive win there in the Gold Pearl, will be looking to go back-to-back for Tony as well.
Yes, so a bit of an extended gap. It would have been the 7 days, Brodie, wouldn't it? But 13 days now for La Bella Boom. And this race was run like a Magic Millions. They went very quickly. Rainbow Glow really stamped urgent like a quarter horse and set up very good overall time. And you can see La Bella Boom was far too good for the opposition there. Forgotten Spirit was good, and Don't Doubt the Lady back in 3rd spot, but she clearly had them covered, didn't she? I love the way she sat 5 lengths off that hot tempo, which she's likely to do tomorrow night, and get to the middle of the track or wherever the best ground is. And I think if she backs that performance up last Saturday week, she's hard to beat here for Tony Gollan. Memo is the interesting runner, and Barrier 1 is obviously going to be an advantage to her. She's still a maiden. You rarely see a maiden win a Magic Millions, but her 3 runs have been very good, in particular at Wyong, where she was a little bit stiff. And then her latest start, she just overrated there behind Gallo Nero at Randwick. She's wide, and then she was out on hooves late. But she's drawing Barrier 13 at her first start, then 9, and then 5 last time. This time, Memo has got the luxury of Barrier number 1, so she comes right into it now. Gallo Nero, I thought he was good at his first start, running 4th at Rose Hill. Just a little bit too keen. He was new, but he was much better last start at Randwick when relaxing, having had that first up run at Rose Hill, and he managed to score. We all know that Apocalyptic, who ran second, was a little bit stiff not to win that race at Randwick. Nevertheless, he's a lovely progressive colt with a gun pedigree, and he's drawn well. That's important. And a Icarian Dream, she's likely to probably get back, but she's got the right pilot in Jason Collett. If you want one, ridden back in the field, he's usually pretty good at picking runs, and that's what he's going to need to do on this filly. I think she'll find the line strongly. And Brodie, the chances don't end there. We saw the market. There hasn't been a standout performer in the lead-ups to the Magic Millions Classic tomorrow night. But I'm thinking La Bella Boom might be the way to go for Queensland.
Hopefully as well, Maxie. We're going to get a better price, hopefully, as well tomorrow compared to what we were last week. And as we know, Tony Gollan, just a supreme trainer when he does present his horses in feature events in Queensland especially. Let's have a look at the third event on the card, which will be the snippets. And we have Samana, $4.40 into $4.20, our favourite. She's going to be awfully popular, I do feel. Damien Lane and Kieran Ma from barrier number 4, first up off 97 days. Hedge has been $6.50 into $5 with Ethan Brown aboard for the good gate. Hard to say, 6 into $5.50. And then we hit the Queenslanders. Prince of Boom, 9 out to 10, back into $8.50. The Two-Nose, $8.50 and Rock Solid. And the stablemate Zarastro, the first at double figures at the $10 quote. But Maxie, we're going to go all the way back to the Winx Stakes at Group 1 level over the 1,400 metres at Randwick and pick up the last start, or apologies, the replay of Samana.
Yeah, this was at Randwick back in August. And, she's only a little over a length off Fierce Estita. She's just a quality mare, Samana. We saw her on Magic Millions Day 12 months ago, win with plenty of authority. She'd won it by a couple of lengths. She did it the tough way, and I thought she was one of the performers of the day. Since then, she's had a spell, and she's been placed 4 times at the elite level, Group 1. That's great form for this. Now, there's a lot of speed here, although we have lost a little bit of the speed through Steady Ready. He was scratched about lunchtime today on Thursday, but we've still got Sarastro. We've got the likes of Prince of Boom, Hedge Likes to Roll, and the Novelist for Waterhouse Potts. If tempo's going to be really good, Samana's going to park right behind them, 2 or 3 lengths off them. Damien Lane's got the right draw to find the right part of the track, and I think she can finish over the top of them. She's first up. Last time she was first up, it was in the Stradbroke, and she literally went around the outside fence from barrier 18. We remember Steffi Magnetic getting up on the rails and scoring. Well, this girl, I thought, did a pretty good job there, fresh last preparation under the circumstances. So I'm with Samana. Hard to say. 1,200 metres is probably as far as he wants to go, but he's got a big ticker and he's in terrific form. Hedge likes to free roll, and I think that's good for him because there's a lot of pressure here and he'll be able to get into a nice rhythm. Still can't get that win on Ipswich Cup Day out of my mind where he just went fast all the way, running great time. Sarastro is going to be an on-pacer as well, but Brodie, I think this mare, Samana, fit and well, fresh, is one of the best bets on the card at the Coast tomorrow night.
Looking forward to seeing the Group 1 before mare Step Around, drawn really well for Kieran Maher and Damien Lane, as Maxi made a fantastic case for her. Plenty more to come around the other side of the break. We'll look at the quaddie legs, including the 3-year-old guineas. Welcome back to Sky Thoroughbred Central's preview of the Magic Millions card of racing tomorrow night at the Gold Coast Turf Club. And we're going to have a look at race number 4, which will be the Magic Millions Cup over the 1,400 metres. And Moravi is our narrow favourite at $6, following a last start second at the Gold Coast behind Redford, who more importantly has got a run as well, $8.50 into $8 today, after the market did confirm this galloper for the Wheeler and Kendrick combination will get a run from barrier number 4. Charmstone, $6 out of $6.50 has been soft for Damien Lane, who's got a fantastic book of rides, a bounding $9.50 out to 10, and West of Africa has a few fans from the car park, one of those horses down the bottom of the weights. But Michael Maxworthy, we're going to have a look at the last start run, or not the last start run, that is a while ago for Charmstone. We saw this galloper go around in the Group 1 Golden Rose, and this is much tougher than what she'll face on Friday.
Yes, unfortunately, things went wrong after the running of this race. She ran a great race behind Miller to Rise, only beaten about a length, a bit tight for room in the straight. And then she was off for about a year, Brodie, recovering from, I think it was bone chips removed from her knee. So she's had a brief prep, and her last start, as you mentioned, was mid-November. It was in a Group 1, the Rupert Clark, behind Komochi. She drew an inside gate, probing for a run, top of the straight, but nothing happened. So she had to basically wait. And then she just finished a race off the last 100 under her own steam. So she's had a break. They've specifically targeted this Magic Millions fillies and mares with her. She's drawn nicely at barrier 2. Hopefully that's okay for her because she's a big, long, striding mare. And en route to Queensland, she stopped off at Rose Hill, and I thought she trialled particularly well. She ran second to a horse called Outback Mix. She moved up to Outback Miss, and both horses went to the line under their own steam. Outback Miss has since had a start and absolutely blitzed them at Warwick Farm by 4 lengths. So here's hoping we see the real Charmstone, because when you sift through some of her old form, she's very, very talented, and we hope we see that tomorrow night at the Gold Coast. Redford, well, he was a little bit too good for Moravia last start. I'm a bit surprised, Brodie, that Moravia is the favourite, although obviously punters are not sure what to do here with a $6 favourite, but I'm a bit shocked that Moravia is actually favourite. This horse beat him hands down. He doesn't have a great win strike rate, Moravia, and it might have flattered this guy a little bit, Redford, but I still think there's a lot to come. He's a Schnitzel 4-year-old, an expensive yearling, and I think there's a little bit of X factor with him. I think he can measure up to much better quality opposition that he's got to do here in this Magic Millions Cup. So he's here with a knockout chance. Orton likewise. I love him on firmer tracks. a little bit of giving the ground won't be a problem for him. But importantly, I think 1,400 metres is his pet distance, and he's trained here at the track, so he definitely goes in everything Orton. And then a bounding, she just can't draw a barrier. Again, she's got an awkward gate to deal with. Although she only finished 6th behind Bubbas Bay in the Nudgee recently at Eagle Farm, it was a forget because she drew the car park, but she didn't give it away. She's a mare that you can rely on to give 100% all the time. So it's an interesting race. I'm just hoping in this Magic Millions Cup over the 1,400 metres, Kenton Price has specifically set Charmstone for this race. So hopefully she gets a touch of luck from that good draw and we see what she's made of to beat Redford, Orton and also a bounding.
And in regards to Tuileries, she's $5.50 favourite for the 3 Old Guineas over the 1,400 metres and currently shopping at that quote in from $6. Earlier this morning, the Snowden trained galloper is drawn the car park. Tyler Schiller goes aboard. Snitzer Nova from barrier number 8 has been fairly well tried in the last couple of moments. It's been $7 out to $8, back into 7. Balhenia, 7 and rock solid. Street Chase, $9.50 maintains its price. Bitter Creek, $11 and Bazusto, $13 in from 14. But Maxi, we touched on the 2-year-old event a short time ago. That is extremely open, and especially with the tough barrier draw for a few market fancies, the 3 Old Guineas is just as open, if not slightly tougher. We're going to pick up the Group 2 Sandown Guineas win of Snitzer Nova. It was impressive.
Yes, she really chases hard here in the home straight. This was all at her first preparation, and she capped it off here at Caulfield. It was Sandown Guineas at Group 2 level, beating Bitter Creek, who lines up against her here tomorrow night, but she stuck to her guns and she last to score. So she's had a little bit of a freshen up. That was back in late November over the 1,600 metres, so I think the 1,400 metres is spot on for her. A lot of these horses, Brodie, are coming through the Vaux Road. The race won by Give Me Space at Eagle Farm. He turned in an extraordinary performance to come from last. He was giving the leaders 10 lengths with about 250 metres to go. It's an amazing performance. He can't quite afford to do that against this quality opposition here, but he is quality. Now, a horse that's got a bit of form around Give Me Space is Street Chase, because he ran second to him last time. I felt that he was a good play here on an each-way basis, and there has been some money for him. I think last time I looked on Tab, he was like 12 down to about $9.50's current price. Now, I don't know where Craig Williams gets to on him. I'd love to see him ridden quietly. He's got a little bit of natural speed, Street Chase, but to run a strong 1,400 metres, he's probably going to have to be a bit quiet on him through the first half and give him his chance to find the line strongly. Lovely horse, and he's one of a dozen fair income chances lining up here. We've touched on the filly Snitzer Nova. Hellafast was good alongside Give Me Space, and also Street Chase last start. He was close up. He's only lightly raced by Fastnet Rock, this fellow. Or is he, what's his pedigree here? Just run a check of him. Hellafast. I don't think he is. He's actually by Hellbent. He was sort of interrupted in the home straight last start. He had to sort of change course a little bit. Cottagio was hanging outwards, causing a little bit of trouble up on the speed, and he came off second best Hellafast, but only lightly raced, and I think that he can really make a name for himself here and run in the top 3. And King of Rousseau was in the sunlight, back last, couldn't keep up, but really found the line strongly over the final part. Look for him late. But I'm with number 9, Street Chase, Brodie, around about $9.50 on an each-way basis.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that Guineas. Maxi, it's going to be a very, very wide leg of the quaddie, and the second of the features comes up in race number 5 and the second leg of the quaddie as well. The penultimate will be race number 6 and the Magic Millions for the fillies and mares. And in regards to the favourite, Miss Roombini, $3.30 out to $3.40. Another one for the Prize in Kent junior team. Ethan Brown also goes aboard. He's got a few rides for the Victorian stable and comes here following a last start win. Bubbas Bay, $6.50 and rock solid. Infatuation, $9 into $6.50 has been a firmer for Bjorn Baker, whose stable's been absolutely airborne for the last couple of months. Revolutionary Miss, $8.50 and rock solid. And Count Your Blessings, $9 out to $9.50, was subject to good support, as was Anahita, who we see in this replay. But it was all about Bubbas Bay this day, Maxi, taking out this event.
Yeah, she's very genuine, Bubbas Bay, but keep your eye on that one that you mentioned, Brodie, Anahita, in those blue colours. She's third last. She's got the blue blinkers on as well. And once she gets around the heels of a couple in front of her there, she really knuckles down. Note this stakes race for fillies and mares, the Nudgy. Only 3 lengths covered the entire 15 runners, but it was Bubbas Bay out in the lead. She was all out with 250 metres to go, but she's been able to repel a wall of horses. Now, Bubbas Bay's got to extend it to 1,300 metres in this fillies and mares race. It's not going to be easy for her, but have a look at her overall record. She's got a heart as big as herself. Doesn't look to be a lot of on-paces lining up here. I can see Bubbas Bay. I think Burning Bell will be handy. Infatuation will be up there as well. But Bubbas Bay's probably equally as speedy as those, and she can either lead or sit a length off the leader, and she'll be there ready to strike at the top of the straight. I can see her visually kicking clear, and they've got to try and run Bubbas Bay down in the home straight. She's not an easy horse to get by, so I'm going to take the punt on her, running a strong 1,300 metres. Anahita, I actually had her on top last Saturday, thinking the heavy track was going to make this a slog over 1,300, but if the track's sort of, a soft 5, good 4, it's probably going to make it a little bit tougher for her, because I think she's looking for further. Nevertheless, she's coming off an eye-catcher in the Nudgy. Miss Rubini, interesting runner here. Now, she's sort of only been out of the top 3 once. Top 3, 7 of 8 starts, so she's very genuine. I'm just finding it a little bit difficult to read that Melbourne fillies and mares form. But you can't argue with a record, and I know she has been one of the best back runners here, Miss Rubini. And the other little thing I've got niggling away in the back of my mind is that all of her starts have been the left-handed way in Melbourne. She's got to go right-handed around a tricky, tighter turning track that is the Gold Coast. But she's got the right form. She does look to be hard to beat. And I thought Star Act probably needed a really soft or heavy to figure in the top 4, but I think she's going great guns, and she's got a good map here, close to the inside. So she's one that I want to entertain for a trifecta or a first 4.
Race number 7 at the Gold Coast will be the last of their Magic Millions card, and it's Queenslanders galore here in the final event, Maxi. So I'm sure you feel maybe a little bit more comfortable doing the form for here, because there's a lot of exposed horses we've known for a long time. Boom Talk's our favourite for Blake Shin and Matt Dunn. It's $3.70 into $3.60 today, and we've had a host of scratchings come through this event. Abounding, Christ Ayor are some of those, and in Busting as well, unfortunately won't get a run in this event. The stablemate to Busting, though, Hidden Wealth will take its place, $3.90 and rock solid. Yellow Brick drawn wide at $5. Sifrado's $5.50 out to $6, and the 2-year-old classic winner from a couple of years ago, Skirt the Law, $10 out to $11. Interesting to note, Bohemian Lad for David Van Dyke, $14 into $11, has met some support. But here's Boom Talk running 4th, Maxi, last start at Eagle Farm, comes to the Gold Coast.
Yes, and he was really good first up last year, Brodie. There's a pattern, and then he came here and he won this race and won it well. So we're looking at the Falbalon here. This was a bit of a blanket finish won by Cannonball, but it was a nice performance by Boom Talk. This was back on the 21st of December. He loves to be kept on the fresh side. He does have synthetic hoof filler this year, so hopefully everything's okay with him there. But he's drawn a beautiful gate, inside gate for Blake Shin. I'm sure he's going to be very hard to hold out. Now, I was wanting to risk him a little bit last week on the heavy track because he's not really known as a heavy tracker. Just a little bit of giving the ground will be okay for him in this last race. Nice. So he's here with a big chance. I'm going to go with Hidden Wealth, though, and be very forgiving. Now, he won on a very, very heavy track first up, and they say that flattered him. Last start, he was joint leader with Zerastro, and both of those were beaten shortly after turning into the straight. You'll see the margin he was beaten by last start was 9 lengths, but it probably should have been 2 or 3. He was badly sandwiched, and the rider actually eased him out of the race. Now, I am thinking that was just a second up, flat run after a dynamic first up performance. Now, here we're going to get tremendous speed, Find Your Own is one of the fastest horses right across Queensland. He'll lead by any amount of lengths. And I think it'll be Hidden Wealth, the one to sit behind and wait for, Find Your Own, possibly to tire at about the 150 metres mark. And I reckon he'll be there ready to pounce. He doesn't like to be interfered with. He likes to run at a quick tempo, and he'll be able to do that here with the likes of Find Your Own rolling it. 11s is in front, and I think he can sweep home over the top of him. Definitely Boom Talk. He'll get that soft run near the inside. He'll hit the line hard. Yellow Brick, just a slight concern about the big weight with him, but he's the best horse here, clearly, when you analyse his overall form. So 61 kilos, he's certainly not out of it. We don't want it to get too wet for him under that big weight. Just a soft track would be nice, just getting his hooves into the ground. And Safe Work, the stablemate to the front runner in Find Your Own, is always good for a trifecta or a first four. He's always back lurking, and I think he can drop into maybe a minor spot. But terrific race to finish with Brodie, but I'm just going to take the punt on Hidden Wealth, who finished last at his most recent outing, turning that form right around and getting the cash for us in the last tomorrow night.
Hopefully it's a very good night, Maxie, because we have the 7 races up for decision, and the first of those comes up at 5:30 p.m. local time, which will be the Sub-Zero. But talk us through your best bets and the quaddie, Maxie.
Well, the best bets on the program, at this point, Brodie, I've come up with only the one. It's pretty much the same as last week on that heavy track. I was really keen on Samana, and the fact that we're going to get a much better track surface is not concerning me at all. She's a genuine Group 1 performer, I feel. We analyse her form over the past 12 months when she was completely dominant here. Now, I suspect she's the way to go. Now, only 7 races on the card. We've got to go a little bit wide. There's so much depth to some of these races, so you might have to take this for just a very small percentage and have an interest. 6, 19, 4 and 2. Second leg, 9, 6, 12, 10. The third leg, just 5, 8 and 6. And in the final race, 3, 6 and 1.
Thank you very much, Maxie, for your time this afternoon as we have a look at the Gold Coast Turf Club. Their Big Magic Millions card of racing coming up on Friday evening. Best of luck for all investments on the big card, and will be shown alongside Canterbury here on Sky Thoroughbred Central.
For my career, it's just the ultimate. This will make me for a lifetime.
That right there is trainer Sally Keys. She won the inaugural Magic Millions 2-year-old Classic.
And Sniffles is driving away in the run of the bicycle with easily.
It's the race that changes lives, and it starts at the sales. Whether you're a top stable or a spokesperson for a syndicate, you are chasing that 1 in a million.
$1 million and 50 bid.
But while beauty is in the eye of the beholder at the sales, virtue on the track is plain to see. From snippets and dance heroes to capitalists and Stormboy.
Stormboy is too good for them in the 2-year-old.
Tears are guaranteed, but a winner is not. Find out on Sky Racing.